Alright, no doubt you know from Sophie's world that Descartes is known as a dualist, like dual exhaust. There seems a lot of automobile talk here today. Dual exhaust, which reminds me, the muffler fell off my car today. Well, that's only got single exhaust. But dual exhaust means what? Two tailpipes. And dualism means there's two kinds of stuff. And so far, all we know about is thinking stuff, which he calls thinking substance, and the external world, or extended substance, he has no idea about whether or not it's right. We know we can trust our innate ideas because why? The evil demon does not exist, and we also know that God certifies the truth of our intuition, but our sensation is still pretty faulty. And so Descartes says there's two kinds of stuff: extended stuff, stuff in the external world, thinking stuff, the stuff we're doing now, thinking about it, and how do the two things hook up? You have a mind that thinks and a body that's out there walking around. And watch this amazing thing. I know you're not going to believe this. It's like shocking. Watch. Dude, did you see that? I picked up my arm. I thought, I will pick up my arm. That's a thought. And then my arm went up. That's amazing. How can you think a thought and then move your arm? Because, for example, if I take this little magic marker here and I say, all right, all you all over the world in Penn Highlands, think. Push that thing off my hand. Well, you can't. Even if I was right in front of you, you can't. The only way you could push the marker, well, look at a piece of paper in your own hand and say, jump, paper, jump. It won't. The only way it can happen is if you push it with your finger. So how can I say, I shall move my arm and boink, up it goes? I can do that. So how can thought move extended matter? Well, Descartes never really comes up with a very good idea for this, so he invents an idea called the pineal gland, which is silly. I mean, we have a pineal gland, but it doesn't really exist for the purpose that Descartes thought. The pineal gland for Descartes connects the mind and the body. And that's really important, because the problem that Descartes has is how do we make mistakes? How do we make errors? For example, when I look at the sun, my eye tells me the sun's very little, and yet I know it's really enormous. When I look at something from a distance, I know it looks smaller, but my brain tells me it's bigger than it seems. So it's possible for me to make mistakes with my sensation that my mind will overcome. And yet we still do make mistakes. Like you see somebody who you thought was a person you know and you say, hey, how you doing? And it's not the right person. Or if you remember when you were a little kid, you might have held your mother's hand. You turn around, oh my God, who's that? That's not my mother. These are terrible mistakes that happen because sensation tells you one thing, and then you misinterpret that sensation. So what Descartes is going to say happens is that our senses receive sensation from the external world. So stuff in the external world, boink, hits you in the eye. You see all those light waves. And once you see those light waves, you then put them through your brain until they get to the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is half mind and half body. And so the little wires from your eyes with little whatever it is that light waves do, they boop, boop, pull that little pineal gland, which makes thoughts come out of your pineal gland. And you say, holy cow, that is a pineapple over there, if you see a pineapple. And so what happens is that your sensation is very different than your perception. So we have sensation. I'm going to use this blackboard. Sensation is the stuff that boinks you in the eye, sensation. And then the sensation goes in and hits your eye, whatever it is. And then the eye goes to the pineal gland, which I'll draw as a yin-yang, though that's not what Descartes thought as, which is half mind and half body. And then that goes to your thinking part of your body, which says, oh, I see, that is a pineapple, which I can't spell when there's no pineapple in this room, so who can say? But there, see a pineapple over there. There is a pineapple. Believe that's a pine, looks like a carrot, but that's a pineapple. And so I think with my mind, that is a pineapple. And that thinking takes place in language. So in other words, what Descartes has said is the only way I can connect the external world, sensation, with the internal thinking world, I see a pineapple, is with language. And so thought occurs in language. And the mistakes we make when I think I see one thing, but in fact I see something else, is a mistake in judgment. So when you held your mom's hand when you were a little kid and it turned out it wasn't your mom at all, that was a mistake in judgment. Your hand felt exactly what was there, but you jumped to the wrong conclusion. So errors are not errors in sensation. I see something and I think it's something else. What that means is that I see something and I misinterpret it. I misuse language. So Descartes says thinking really happens in language. Error also happens in a misunderstanding between the stuff that hits your eye and that's the vision of the pineapple in your eye. Your eye then takes that again, we'll go through it again, the eye then pushes the half of your pineal gland, which then makes it into a thought, which then the thought goes into your mind, and you pass a judgment, and that's called perception. So sensation is not perception. And that is how Descartes deals with the problem of dualism, but it's a pretty cruddy resolution. Now, there is this guy, Malebranche, who I like a lot. He's definitely wrong, but he's still pretty funny. He says, really, what's going on here, dude? Let me tell you. When I think I'm going to scratch my head or pick my nose or whatever I'm going to do, I won't do that on film, what's really happening is that God makes you do it. So the other day when I kicked my brother, I didn't do that. God made me do it. That's what Malebranche says. That's a silly solution to the problem. But of course, if God can do everything, why can't he make my arm move when I want to move it? It's not really that I do it at all. I say, okay, I'm going to move my arm down. And God, stop it. And God, damn it. And so then I think I can move it, and God does it. And that's how it works for Malebranche, which makes no sense at all.